Hi, this is MFuller, and this is a shooting video all in my home about doing different experiments with kids. And it could be about art projects or cooking, but in this video we're going to do baking soda and vinegar, and we're going to do dry ice. You can see that I have all the ingredients set up. We decided to do a rainbow of vinegar, so we filled the glasses up with vinegar and then colored them. And then we were going to add the baking soda to make the fun reaction. So I'm up on the table, you saw, taking an overhead shot. I'm down low watching the fizz. I'm just taking all the different options that there are. So here are a few images. I have my start image of an overhead shot right before they dump it in. Then we see what starts to happen. And it continues, and you're going to see throughout this video that I've taken lots of overhead shots so we can see the progress of our whole entire experiment. So my kids know that when we do this experiment, they're allowed to make a big mess. So I have to be prepared for a cleanup and that it's okay, but it wouldn't be fun to end the experiment now. Now they want to keep adding vinegar and more baking soda and just keep the fun going. And so I have to say yes, because it is when they learn more and they experiment and they just have a great time. So I also want to talk about the lighting in my little kitchen nook. You can see I have windows on both sides. All of the windows kind of create a challenge for me, as I pretty much have to shoot with them backlit the whole time. Okay, so here's some images. This is once they start adding more vinegar, and I just love the overflowing and the colors and their hands moving.
Oh, that's not good.
So here are some more images. I like to capture all the different ingredients going in. You can see the baking soda, and then this, I got the water drops, and I used his shirt so that you could actually see the water drops, because if it was in front of the white blown out windows, you wouldn't be able to see it that well. And then I took another overhead shot to show our progress and look at all the mess and the colors.
All that stuff in here. Whoever's not doing.
Okay, here I'm setting up to take some images with a slow shutter speed. So instead of freezing the bubbles coming out of the glasses, I want to let them have time to bubble over so that I get a little bit of the movement of the bubbles. So in the pictures you can see the settings, and I just try to hold the camera really still, and I did ask my kids to dump the vinegar at the same time. Here in this first one, I got the fizz slowed down so you can see the movement of it. And then in this, you can see the movement of the vinegar. The colors have not yet overflowed, but in the next image, you can see them overflowing. Especially that blue one in front, you can tell that the motion has been blurred a bit. So this ends the shooting video for the vinegar. They continued to play and mix the colors so everything turned brown. But they had so much fun. Alright, this starts the dry ice experiments. This is one of my kids' favorite things to do, and we literally played with the dry ice for 3 hours this day. There are so many things you can do with dry ice. I will pin a bunch of ideas on the Pinterest board in the forum. As you can see, it makes noise against metal. We use tongs to play with it so that we're not touching it. Yes, we probably should have goggles on, but we don't really do that. But I should recommend it. So for this first thing, we put a bowl with some dry ice in it in the sink and then started adding warm water. And I love to capture the smoke coming right out of that sink and flowing over everything. So that's what we were doing. They were moving their arms. I was trying to capture different angles, getting up on the counter, of course. I'm trying to let them enjoy it and do their own thing, not asking them to do anything, just kind of walking around, observing, and taking pictures that I think might be interesting. I included this one because I liked how they were waiting and observing. This one I don't like. You see all that mess on the other side of the counter? Ah! And then this, of course, of the overhead one I really liked. Then they started blowing it across the counter, which I thought was pretty fun. So I was using the light behind my son with the window to try to get his profile while he was blowing the smoke, and I actually had to help him and show him where to do it. It was tough to focus and actually catch the focus on that. Then I run over and do my daughter as well. And this is how they turned out. I loved how there's a smoke around his face on this one. But this one, I like how he's leaned forward so you can see his profile a bit better against the white. And there's my daughter with her hair always in her face.
Ready, set.
Now they decide they want to try to cover a person in the smoke, which would be really fun. So Violet laid on the table and they got their bowls ready with all of the dry ice with the water, and they decided to start blowing. It did not work that well.
Ready, set.
I also worked on slowing the shutter speed down for some of these experiments. You can see I tried to get the smoke billowing over, and then I did one of my daughter's hand with the smoke kind of moving around. And here we go with another experiment with the dry ice. So now they each get their own little glass with dry ice and water in it, and we add dish soap to make him turn into bubbles, and we also have food coloring to make it exciting. So they love just making them pop, watching how big they can grow. If you do it all yourself, there's no real danger because the dry ice is in the container. So it's just a really fun experiment. I have a really fun time playing with it too. As you'll see in the images, shooting in this direction from the kitchen towards the family room is a bit of a challenge because you're going to see the distractions in the background, especially. In these images, you'll just see the different stages of the bubbles and the adding the color and the popping of the bubbles and just all the different things that we did with the dry ice in this part of the experiment.
How many bubbles
And our final experiment are these exploding bags. You put a little tiny bit of dry ice, some water, and zip them up, and then the pressure builds and then they pop. The kids love this and did this over and over and over again.
On your knees. Janet, are you coming? Because you're moving slow. Go on your knees. On your knees.
This one is mine.
Oh.
This one is mine.
I don't know. Get in closer, Janet. Where's Charlotte?
Mine. No. No. Mine. Mine. What the heck is this?
These are funny.
And here I included just all the different pictures I took of their reactions of when they blew up, their eyes closed, their eyes open, the anticipation, their happiness. This wraps up the video, and I hope you're inspired to try some new, fun, playful activities at home.